Let's go ahead and go to the phones. Who do we have on the line?
Coach Brady Hoke.
Is a guy named Brady on the line? Really? Coach Hoke, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, Sam. How are you? They ran you off the golf course already. They knew how pitiful your swing was, so I don't blame them. Save the course. That's all they're doing.
Well, what kind of golfer is Brady Hoke? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, I won't be golfing. That should tell you everything you need to know. I'm coming over here because I've got a great friend and a great cause with Rich Hewlett, and it's a great outing every year. And it's just fun to be here and support Rich and the cause. So it's neat to be here.
Yeah, Brady, this is something that I spoke about this morning, that the call goes out from Rich Hewlett and folks that are raising money for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.
Right.
And what it is a testament to the fraternity that he puts out the call, and so many coaches from different eras, so many players from different eras come out to support Rich and what he's trying to do.
Well, there's no question. Stan was just here. Tom Dixon's here. There's a bunch of guys that were part of the Michigan program, and just a bunch of people that really, have great hearts and know what an incredible event that Rich puts on. And so it's going to be a fun day, and it looks like they've got a good golf day.
Yeah, absolutely. Not that it would matter to you or I, Brady, but they do have
you got that right.
They do have a good golf day out there. Well, I want to take this opportunity, man, because I've talked to you a lot about spring football and all of that. I kind of want to go off the beaten path a little bit and just ask you some questions about college football in general that a lot of coaches have been commenting on. Last week we got word about possibly having an early signing period, and I know you can't talk about recruiting specifically, but I wonder if you think that would be a good move, a good idea, when you consider how many early commitments teams are getting these days. Would it be a good idea to have an early signing period in college football?
No, I agree, Sam. I think it would be great for the kids and coaches out there, as far as you look at the high school coaches and their programs. But I think to do that, I think we really need to have an early visitation period. I think either the last week in May, the first 2 weeks in June, where you could have a visitation program set up where kids could officially visit. And I think if you could do that, and we would make that move, I think it would really help the families and the student athletes who are being recruited. As you know, guys are, they're going all over the country, and families are trying to give their sons the best view of every opportunity that's out there. But they're also at the same time, they're spending a lot of money. And I think if we could somehow, and I know we've talked about in the Big Ten, have an early visitation period, I think that would be something that would really help. I think that would help the families and help those young men who are from distance as much as anything else get to the different schools that they're really interested in.
Yeah, I imagine certainly for a school like Michigan that recruits all over the country, you're recruiting guys in California and Florida and whatnot, with kids hardly making it seemingly to their official visits in the fall anymore. Those kids that come from the West Coast, from the South, those guys especially, it's a lot more difficult for them to really consider, Michigan and, some of the Midwest schools on par with some of the regional schools, it would seem to me, without this early signing period that you're talking about.
Well, that's exactly right. And Michigan has always been a school that, because of the academics and what we stand for as a university, that Block M is a worldwide Block M. So we're fortunate enough to do our due diligence regionally, but also on a national standpoint, from California to Maine, if you'd want to say it, Texas and Florida, we have a presence. And it's something that I think would really help the families of the young men who are trying to figure out where this best place is for them.
We're talking to Brady Hoke this morning. He's live on location, University of Michigan Golf Course, supporting Rich Hewlett's golf outing, the 6th annual golf outing that they have to support the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Now, Brady, it is certainly the case, as I just mentioned. You don't have an early signing period right now. Different schools handle early commitments in different ways. I'm curious if you can kind of lay out how you handle in general when a kid commits early. A lot of schools say, hey, you can commit and take visits. Talking to different guys. That's not really how you do things. What do you try to do? What do you try to tell a kid when he commits to Michigan?
Well, number one, we want to make sure. We want him to understand. I know one thing: we don't pressure guys into making their commitments. We talk to them about how they feel about their commitment. We don't want them to back out of a commitment because, we have an obligation and honesty when we do offer a guy and we accept that a commitment. We stop recruiting maybe a guy at that position because we've got one that we can count on. So as we go through the process, believe me, Sam, there's a lot of conversation on what this commitment means and how we handle it and how we look at it and how we value it.
We're talking to Brady Hoke. So Brady, let's move on to talking about scheduling. Big Ten about to move to a 9-game conference schedule. Yeah. You look at some of the the other conferences, ACC and the SEC. They're opting to stay at an 8-game schedule with the playoff upon us. I'm curious if how you think that's going to impact things. Is that an imbalance in favor of those conferences versus the Big Ten, or do you like the idea of going to nine games? How do you stand? Where do you stand on that?
Well, we as a conference, we all voted in the pretty unanimous vote to go to a 9-game schedule, and I honestly believe because of trying to find enough games to play. The amount of money that's being spread around to pay for people to come to your stadium, it only makes sense that we ought to play 9 games. And I think when you look at all the, if you want to call them power conferences, I think we all should do it if it's going to have something to do with the playoffs. And for 2 conferences to play 8. I don't really see that as being something that's, maybe equitable across the board if the rest of us are going to play 9 conference games because, playing conference games are different. You've got some rivalries that are in there that may not be played every year, but you've got some familiarity with each other, and you've got a lot of regional pride that goes with that. And so, I really think playing the 9 games, that if it's going to make a difference in the new system, the college football playoff system, then we need to all play 9 games.
Yeah, you got a lot of things going on in college football right now where, it kind of seems like the various conferences, while they have their own interests to be cognizant of, you guys have to talk about how it affects one another. That's one of them. Another is this idea of increasing the cost of the amount of money that goes to paying for a scholarship player, kind of getting up to par with the cost of scholarship. Do you think that's a good move for at least the power conferences to kind of put more money into what a scholarship athlete gets at these various schools within these conferences?
Well, there's no question that there's going to be, a lot of conversation, and, you can go from the unionization and where that's at and where that may be at the end of the day. But also, you look at the cost of an education. If you've got a young man from California, is there a way to help pay his flights when he goes home, and the opportunities that they get home? Because that travel is truly a cost of an education if a guy's coming to the University of Michigan. But I think there's so many questions out there and how to balance it and what direction that all the universities and how's it going to affect Title IX, and how's it going to affect your other sports? And, we're so proud of the opportunities that we give student athletes at Michigan. I think it's something that, everyone's going to have to take a hard look at.
Mm-hmm. One question about the team before we let you go, Brady. You've had an opportunity now to kind of meet with all of your guys, the entire team,
right.
and the coaches have as well. One of the things you really talked about coming out of spring is this team really likes each other. The other thing you really talked about is developing leadership. You kind of talked to me before, or to the media before, about all the leaders that you saw emerging on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's well established. What about on the offensive side of the ball? What in the way of leadership have you seen emerge on that side of the ball? Where is the leadership kind of coming from on offense?
Well, I think we've got some receivers who are doing a tremendous job. Their work ethic, they're up around the building. Devin obviously continues to make those strides that we feel he needs to make, and I think what he feels he needs to make. I think it will be a work in progress. I think as they get into some of the voluntary things, and also I think when they get into the mandatory things, I think the attitude of our team's been good. I think the chemistry's been good. But we've got a long summer in front of us, Sam, so we'll take it day by day and see where we end up.
All right, well, Coach, hey, man, we appreciate you taking the time, spending some time this morning addressing a range of topics. Get on out there and motivate them. I know you're not going to swing them, but get out there and motivate the others to swing the sticks well today.
I think I'll motivate them by not playing, so I think that will work out pretty well, Sam.
All right, Brady, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, that was Michigan head coach Brady Hoke. A lot of interesting comments there. Jay-Z said, hey, doesn't like the imbalance that might develop. Here, you're going to have some fans anyway to say, hey, well, the SEC is already out there, but you get the point. He's saying, hey, if one conference is at 9 games, he feels like all the conferences should be at 9 games. He came out in favor of an early signing period. Another notable thing that we'll see. I think that the piece of the puzzle that has to be emphasized as far as that's concerned, in my opinion, is the early visit period. I think he was spot on about that. To be able – you look at college basketball already allows guys to take, official visits at an earlier clip than college football. So, they understood the need. They already have an early signing period as well. It makes total sense for college football when you look at how their timetable has been sped up to kind of almost mimic. It's not exactly as early as college basketball, but it's approaching it. So they really do need both. They need an early signing period. They need an early visitation period, and will allow some of these, nationally recruiting models to be more functional. You'll be able to let a kid from California officially visit Michigan in the spring or summer. That'd be huge if they can get it done, and it'll be interesting to see if more schools get on board with that. So 8:48 on a Monday. I am back in studio, back here in the Suburban Chevrolet Cadillac studios, but the golf outing is still going on down at the University of Michigan a golf course, and we will talk to many more guests that will be down there to support Rich Hewlett's golf outing, to support the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So stay tuned here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, the official voice of University of Michigan Sports.